Hi, Ben with TSS. Now we're going to be talking about the Performance Center version of the Smith & Wesson Shield. So there are several variations of the Shield available. We've talked about the Shields to some degree before. Very, very, very popular gun, massively popular. I think they've sold well over 1 million Shields at this point. And you know what, I have one too, and it seems like just about everybody I know and work with has the Shield or an M&P or some similar Smith & Wesson. So solid gun, very reliable, very tried and true as far as an everyday carry gun goes. This one has an improved trigger, has the high-vis sights, and has a ported barrel. So I was impressed by the trigger. I'm used to the stock trigger, which leaves a little bit to be desired, but on a carry gun, no big deal. This one does still have the manual safety, which personally I'm not a fan of, but that's neither here nor there. So the Performance Center Shield, having the porting, the high-vis fiber optic sights, and the tuned trigger, was very, very pleasant to shoot. I did notice less felt recoil on this ported gun than I do the standard versions. Not that there's a lot to speak of when we're talking about a 9mm Shield, but this one with the ported barrel was even more pleasant to shoot with even less felt recoil. I've heard a lot of folks speculate as to whether a ported gun is a good idea for carry or not because of the muzzle flash. And you know, at least with the ammunition that I have used out of this gun, I have not really seen a whole lot of blast. The one thing I will say that is a real downside of a ported gun is, if you can zoom in on that, take a look at just how much filth and carbon we have up here. That is always going to be the case when you're shooting a gun with ports, because you have gases, you have burning powder and gas shooting up out of here, getting carbon fouling all over everything, and you know, definitely getting on our front sight there. No big deal, you can clean that off, but it is a little bit more hassle and a little bit more painstaking when you take this down to clean it. Something else that you want to pay attention to when you are shooting a ported gun is some of the cheap ammunition, including, say, Federal RTP, the white box stuff. They say you're actually not supposed to use in a ported barrel because the plated jackets are very, very thin, and you could potentially have some kind of peeling off and, you know, causing debris to shoot out in, you know, you don't necessarily want that. I probably shouldn't say this. I've used it anyway and haven't had any issues. I would not recommend you disregard the manufacturer's warning. So stick to high quality ammunition with a better jacket, but honestly I've experienced no issues. So the Performance Center Shield with the ported barrel, the high-vis fiber optic sights, and the tuned trigger is only a $519 MSRP. The MSRP on a standard Shield is $449. So the difference is you get the upgraded sights, the ported barrel and the cuts in the slide, the tuned and polished trigger. I would say for a difference of, what, 50, 70 bucks? For a difference of $70 roundabout, that's pretty good because you're usually going to pay at least $100 for upgraded sights. If you had a gunsmith do this kind of work to your slide and your barrel, it would be very expensive. To have the trigger replaced or tuned or polished is going to cost you money. So for a difference of $70 in the MSRP, I would say it's worth it if you're looking for something that is a little bit nicer out of the box, a little bit less recoil, nicer sights. Personally, I'd be fine with the standard Shield, but the Performance Center definitely does offer a couple of upgrades for not a whole lot more money. So I would say check it out. If you don't already have a Shield, then maybe take a look at this as a contender for everyday carry. If you do already have a Shield, try this on the range and see what you think. This has been Ben with TSS. Thanks for joining me again. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.